like to focus on report development of Haiphong port. So do you know where's the Haiphong? In the north of Vietnam. In the north of Vietnam. And do you know anything about Haiphong port? The geographical location. Okay, it's very good for port development, in particular, and maritime industries in general. Yeah. So in the north of Vietnam, we have only one port group. Okay, group 1. In the north of Vietnam, we have only one group. Group 1 in the north of Vietnam. And in group 1, we have 4 seaports. And one of the 4 seaports in group 1 in the north of Vietnam is Haiphong seaport. Okay, so in Haiphong city, it is not very small and large city. It's just a normal city in the north of Vietnam. But with the geographical location, it's very suitable for port development. Okay. And in Haiphong city, we have only one seaport. We have only one seaport. Okay. Don't mix it. Haiphong has a lot of seaport like Dinh Vũ, like Lạch Quyện, Hải An, Haiphong, etc. No, we have only one seaport. Do you know why? Because we name the seaport as a name of city or provinces in Vietnam. So we have now we have 34 seaport, okay, and with only one seaport, with more than 55 terminals and more than 40 port companies. So each port companies can manage and operate more than one terminals, okay, and you can see the locations of terminals in Haiphong seaport, okay. So do you have any ideas about the locations of terminals in Haiphong seaport? Do you have any idea? No? Okay, because you don't know. Okay, exactly. I can tell you, the majorities of terminals in Haiphong seaport located on the river, on the bank of river. And almost the major seaport in Vietnam located on rivers. So what is the limitation? What are the limitations of sea and river location?
Water depth.
What?
The draft.
The draft. Okay.
Water depth.
Okay. River location. So, what are the limitations? The channels.
Deep.
Yeah.
Water
Okay,
deep.
the channel is very long and narrow and shallow, not deep. And then the draft, okay, the draft is limited for bigger ships. Okay, so the majorities of Haiphong seaport terminals located on the Cấm River, okay. The rivers has two banks, okay. One bank is, and the terminals are built on only one side of the river, only one bank of the river. You understand? Okay. And Haiphong seaport, we divided into three areas. The first one may be in this area, okay, and the second one is in the mouth of the river, the second area. And the next one is the sea location area, like Viet area. And in the future, we will build the fourth area in Dosan, okay, area. So in the future, Haiphong seaport has 4 areas. But currently, we just have a 3 one. The first one located inside the city center. So it has some kinds of limitations of draft and the channel. Do you know how long does it take a pilot to take the ship from the pilot station to the terminal? Do you know? more than 10 kilometers from the pilot station to the terminals in the first area in the Haiphong seaport. It takes maybe 2 or 3 or even 4 hours.
Wow.
Okay, not 2, more than 2.
More than 2 years.
Okay, maybe around 3 hours for the pilots to take the ship from the pilot station to the terminals in the terminals inside the city.
Yeah.
So do you know how speed of the container ship for loading and unloading is very quick. So it takes around 3 hours for the pilots. So it's not productivity. It's a big problem. So our future developments to move, okay, almost the terminals inside the city to the mouth of the river and sea location.
Yeah.
That is our issue of to deal with this problem. Okay, Haiphong seaport. Okay, and we have more than 40 port companies, and with different kinds of company in Haiphong seaport companies, and we have a Vietnamese government. We have a state-owned companies representative for the first one, the VIMC. Okay, VIMC. Do you know VIMC? Professor Yang, you know VIMC. In the past, it is Vietnam National Shipping Lines, but now they changed. Okay, VIMC, Vietnam Maritime Corporation. Okay, all the major ports in Vietnam are state-owned, and with the VIMC is a representative for the government. And another one is Saigon Newport Corporation. Saigon Newport Corporation. And another kinds of foreign investors import in Vietnam from Japan. Okay, from Japan, shipping companies from Japan and Taiwanese shipping companies. Okay, and from other countries in the world. However, as I said to you, in Haiphong, okay, do you know, still remember 49%? Okay, no more than 49%. Okay, when they want to invest in port companies in Haiphong. And okay, some kinds of figures. Okay, you can see the locations of Haiphong seaport. So do you think that it is convenient for Haiphong seaport to develop in the future when we compare with another seaport in group 1 and in another groups in Vietnam? Do you think it is convenient? Why? Do you know the reason why? I have a slide, but I don't know where is it. Because of the geographical location. Okay, so Haiphong seaports maybe can be developed in the future. Why? Because of its hinterland. Hinterland and its fallen. Its fallen is very good, and its hinterland. The first factors, economics from port hinterland, and the second one, transport infrastructures to and from port hinterland to Haiphong seaport. So how many kinds of transport? We have a full range of only pipelines we don't have, because it costs a lot of money to build a pipeline transport from port hinterlands of Haiphong port to Haiphong port and vice versa. Okay, so we have air transport, Gat B International Airport connected to Haiphong seaport. We have a road transport, highway number 1 and highway number 2, and we have inland transport. Yeah, by barge. We have a full range of rivers, not only in the South Vietnam but in the North Vietnam. And we have a road transport, rail transport, but rail transport is not well developed now. But in the future, we will focus on rail transport. Nowadays, we just focus on sea transport, domestic transport, inland waterway transport, road transport, from Port Hinterland to Port of Haiphong. It's very convenient. So, and now I come to the point of the pollution in Haiphong seaport. You know, there are a lot of kinds of pollution surrounding the port areas, arising from the port operations. Okay, so you can see this is the point. So, what kinds of pollution? What kinds of pollution? Two beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
Second one. The same kinds of pollution. And what kinds of cargo? This is brown cargo. The dry brown cargo. So its characteristic is different from another kinds of cargo. So when you handle this kinds of cargo, please pay attention because it can damage to the environment. Okay, very. Okay. So this one. Garbage inside the container.
Yeah.
So the cargo inside the container is not the same kinds of cargoes that in the CP or CO, certificates of origin or bill of lading or something like that. When the customs officer doubt about it, they open it and then it turns out to be this kinds of cargo. So it can damage to the environment. Okay, it's a problem. Not only in Haiphong seaport but also another seaport in Vietnam. Okay, so how about the current actions of Haiphong seaport? We also follow all the measurement or action like you said or Mr. Tu did. Okay, currently we follow all the regulation, the instructions from our government. Okay, related to the green port development. We also divide it into 3 pillars we have to follow. Okay. But currently, we are carrying out some kinds of measurement. Okay, you know that green port and smart ports go with each other. We cannot develop it into green port without smart port. You agree with me? Because when we apply technology, so we can save time. So saving time is saving the, not only money, but we can minimize the impact to the environment, okay? So we applying some kinds of software for port management and especially in port operations. And we have an e-port and apps for container checker, and we have a smart gate. I think that in Taiwan, you also have a lot of kinds of smart gate in the seaport system in Taiwan. In Vietnam, we just apply in some kinds of port, okay? Some specific seaport in Vietnam. And in Haiphong seaport, we have applied smart gate in some terminals in Haiphong seaport. And also we have an online payment, okay? And the second one, we invest in new handling equipment. But you think that it costs a lot of money, a big, huge of money. Okay. And alternative energy. Now, do you know how many kinds of energy? How many kinds of energy? You can generate, okay, into 2 main kinds of. The first one, non-renewable and renewable. Non-renewable energy. What is it? It's from fossil fuel. Okay, fossil fuel. So it takes time, okay, to produce fossil fuel, like a coal, like a diesel oil, okay. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of non-renewable energy? Is this expensive? Okay. So expensive. Okay. Expensive? Do you think expensive? Okay. This is cheaper. Okay, cheaper. And however, it is limited. It is limited resources, natural resources. We cannot produce it more in the future. It is ran out of. However, renewable energy like a solar energy, like a hydrogen, okay, like a wind. Okay, so it is much more expensive. However, it is unlimited. And however, okay, how about the pollution? So non-renewable energy, CO2, okay, and non-renewable, it is very clean, okay, clean energy. So in order to minimize the impact of port pollution, okay, so we have to use alternative, it means that renewable energy in the future. So in fact, in some parts in the world like Taiwan, like Japan, like Europe, they use solar nuclear or wind energy instead of or electricity instead of fossil fuel, instead of diesel oil, okay, for ships and for cargo handling equipment, okay. And nowadays in some port companies, they use alternative energy instead of diesel oil, okay, for ships in the future and for cargo handling equipment, for new equipment, for new handling equipment, okay, for the old handling equipment. So how we do with it? How? We just use electricity. We change the energy, but it's a big problem because some handling equipment are out of date. In all the former or the old terminals in Haiphong seaport. However, in some new terminals in Haiphong seaport, we invest very clean, okay, energy handling equipment at the first stage. Of course, it costs a lot of money, but it can save, okay, our environment. In my opinion, each kind of energy has its own advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so for nuclear, it is one of our issue. However, right now we just developed much easier kinds of renewable energy than nuclear one. Okay, but in the South Vietnam we have a nuclear plant already. Okay.
I think this question was about. I think your question was about nuclear vessels, right? Nuclear powered vessels. Okay, I have some anecdotes for you. Right now in the UN Security Council, 5 member states, right? I believe only China or Russia or the United States have nuclear powered like submarines and not like commercially available nuclear powered vessels or shipping. Even France don't have them. They got the deals with Australia cancelled. So to commercialize it will take time, but right now we have the technology to handle the nuclear plants. So that is easy.
Like I think about it, that why we are not spending time on renewable energy, because we will be maybe in shortage of something like
Shortage of battery.
yes, of
Okay,
course. So
okay.
why don't we just go directly for the solution?
From the young generation, maybe a little bit different from the older generation point of view. Okay, thank you so much.
Maybe
You
shipping.
you can got okay, you can got the lucky money. The red one is the biggest one.
No chance for rent.
I still have much more higher valuable than that note. Okay, don't worry, because you still have a lot of questions from me, because we still have 1 hour. Okay, do you have any question? No, you got it. Okay, so the next action to develop Haipong into green one, we develop inland waterway transport. Because as I said to you, inland waterway transport is said to be the greenest one. So in the north of Vietnam, we have a dense rivers. It's very good for from the port to the port hinterland and vice versa. Okay, and it will reduce the burden for road transport and pollution. And you know, green port can be developed, cannot be developed or carried out without green shipping. So we also develop a port into green, and we also make the shipping or the ship in Vietnam become green. So for example, we apply or carried out the IMO regulations, and currently in shipping companies, they are doing some kinds of very urgent action. The first one, they save the energy. They save the consumption of the ships. So if the consumptions of energy will reduce, so the CO2 release to the environment will reduce. And the second one, they can use another kind of method in order to save the consumption of energy by using the propeller boss cap fins. And this project is done by a professor in my university with the biggest shipping companies in Vietnam. And with this project, they can save a lot of energy consumption. So the first step, the very first step, because we cannot demolish this ship or these ships in Vietnam, because we have more than 1,000 ships in Vietnam owned by Vietnamese company. However, it is a little bit small and very old. Okay, the average age may be around 10 years. So the technical, you know that. So the very first step to become or to develop the ship into green ones, to save energy, and we do a lot kinds of action to save energy. And we do another kinds of action. For example, we grow trees surrounding at the terminals or the port, and we use solar powers for the use of electricity. Okay, in the administration building, or we use halogen lamps replaced by lighting system. Okay, and we're building a solid waste water collection system, and relates to drinking mass. Okay, we do a lot kinds of action. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 7 action now currently applied in Haiphong Seaport. This is primary steps. Okay, primary steps or culinary steps or action that to develop Haiphong Seaport into the greener one. And in the next steps, from 2025 to 2030, we are encouraged to apply the criteria made by our government. And from 2030, it is compulsory for us, for all the port companies in Haiphong to follow all the criteria. And if we cannot get the certificate, it will be a big problem. So all the port companies in Haiphong now are trying, their best to follow all the criteria, in this stage, so that they can meet all the criteria or requirements from 2030. And this is our action plan. Very concrete one. And I don't know you have these slides or not. Okay. Okay, so in order to develop the Haipong port into green port, so we should have some kinds of solutions. So for port management, so you know that there are 4 kinds of port management. Okay, so each port management model has its own advantages and disadvantages. So in Haipong Seaport, we should apply the suitable one, because everything will be defined, okay, or regulated by different kinds of port management model, and with different parties when responsible for different responsibilities in green port development, okay, and and the second thing, I would like to focus on leaders and managers. They should be aware of pollution, and they should be aware of the strategy, okay? The strategy to develop Haipong Seaport into green seaport. And next one, not only leaders or government, but also professors at university, especially my university. We are trying our best. We are having a lot of projects, working on or focus on the port environment, how to make our port become green one, and we do have have been holding a lot of kinds of international conferences in my university, and we also have some kinds of cooperation between our university and another university in the world, and we also have some kinds of cooperation between our university and the port companies, okay, or government, to have some kinds of ideas or brilliant ideas or something like that to develop Haipong Seaport to develop it into green one, okay. So I do think that very brief information about seaport system in Vietnam and green port development in Vietnam in general and in Haipong Seaport. I do hope that you can understand a little bit. Okay, so now I would like to spend half an hour for exchanging ideas about green port development. Okay, or if you have any ideas about that or question for me, I am willing to answer. Happy to answer your question.